Yeah, I
Because I would
think
have
a
been in her
lot of
office
people.
every day with a complaint.
Okay,
You're like,
I'm sure. I'm sure that there was like an uptick of people like, I need to talk to the dean, because I would have.
I know. It's like, also, can you sign like my transcript or something? I don't
Right,
know.
exactly. But yeah, shout out to her.
Shout out to her.
What's up, Janelle?
Hey, Bronzy.
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I can't complain. How about you?
World traveler. I know you can't complain.
You can't come on here every single week, every single time, and say the same thing.
I mean, because these days I can't keep up with you.
Yeah, I've been staying pretty domestic. No world
Okay,
travel
okay,
yet.
cool. Although there's some travel coming up, but that's
Hey.
world travel. I mean, I'm not like it's not a dig. You know what I mean? I want to be a world
It's not.
traveler too.
Yeah, I mean you are too. You got some travel
Okay,
coming up too.
right. So,
Okay.
touche.
Yeah. Excuse the dog sneezing in the background. He's a little under the weather.
Oh, young Spode, he'll get better
Yeah.
soon.
Yes, he better because we got we got flights to catch. So
Right, so you see what I'm saying? He's about to be a world traveler as well.
yeah, we gotta get on this plane real soon. He can't be sneezing all on the plane and stuff. So
Right. Well, hopefully he feels better. Thoughts and prayers are with Spody.
thank you. I received them on his behalf.
But yeah, so we got some things to get into this week. Are you ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Above the fold. Yeah, you can kick us off.
Cool. So it has been announced, I believe officially, that Felicia Rashad will be stepping down as the dean of Howard's Fine Arts Department.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know how long it's been. I feel like it hasn't been that long.
It hasn't. I think
Uh,
next year is her last year. I feel like she took the position. It was like 2021 or something like that.
mhm.
Um, she was like, "Get me out of here. This is not the work that I
Listen,
have signed up to do."
she was like, "Look, I am an actress, okay? I don't know what these kids got going on over here."
Yeah, she said, I am the performer. Now I can come in and I can give advice, I can give a master class, but y'all coming to me talking about y'all grades and talking about the department and what we need to do and dorms and stuff not set up. This this is not the stress
Yeah,
level
I don't
that
think
I
she knew.
expected coming into this.
Yeah, I don't think she knew what she was getting into, or maybe she did, and just like she's not, she's of a certain age. I'm sure she's just like, I don't need this kind of stress anymore. I am a rich actress.
Right. Right.
I'm a legend. Let me go live out my legendary,
Right.
life.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to her for saying like, yeah, I'll do it. Let's see what this is about. And I think that's the beautiful thing when you can exercise the agency to be like, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's only been a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But at this point, I tried it and I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm going to step down. Nice little checkbox to say I did do it.
yeah. And I'm glad she
But
did, because like, how
yeah,
often do people of her caliber come back to do something like that? It's not very
right.
often, right? Especially if you're not already, excuse me, if you're not already in like academia, like Ta-Nehisi Coates is, or something like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Um,
Yeah, that
so yeah,
makes a lot of
kudos
sense
to
too
her.
from that perspective. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good run. Like, it made splashes on headlines. I'm sure students that got the chance to be under her deanship like appreciated it. Like, that's something that you always can take with you to say Felicia Rashad was the dean of my fine arts program.
Right.
So, yeah, I
Because I would
think
have
a
been in
lot
her
of
office
people.
every day with a complaint.
Okay,
You're like,
I'm sure. I'm sure that there was like an uptick of people like, I need to talk to the dean, because I would have.
I know. It's like, also, can you sign like my transcript or something? I don't
Right.
know.
Exactly. But yeah, shout out to her.
Shout out to her. Moving right along then. I know you saw the Zendaya SmartWater campaign that dropped, what, yesterday, day before yesterday?
Yes, I did.
What were your thoughts?
I didn't have any.
I could, yeah, because I'm like, I didn't have any thoughts when I sent it to you, and then the emoji you sent back, and I'm like, what does that
But
mean?
wait, but wait. No, I do appreciate you sending it to me. But digging in a little deeper, I did appreciate like how they brought this campaign to life, where it wasn't just like, oh, we're tapping Zendaya to be the spokesperson for SmartWater.
Mhm.
Um, Law Roach was also a part of this, where he handpicked 5 designers and they
Mhm.
did a shoot which went along with saying like Zendaya is going to be or it's going to represent this particular campaign. So I thought it was
Yeah.
cool to bring in that lens and then also bring in some up and coming or rising designers and then tell a story with that from that perspective. Um,
Yeah,
but
I did
outside of
too.
that,
I
like
just,
just to finish wrap that statement up, but just from the lens of Zendaya is a spokesperson for Smartwater, I was just like, hey,
yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, I think what Smart Water kind of suffers from a little bit is just how generic the product is, right? Like, it's water. Everybody
yeah.
drinks water, or at least should be drinking water. So, like, who is or isn't a good brand fit for Smart Water? And
Mhm.
then I think for me, once I saw the fashion element of it, I was just like, okay, well, how does that tie in with water? I love what they did in like tapping 5 up and coming designers, and the fact that La Roche was a part of it, as he should be. But I'm still like, insert any other product and it it would have been the same thing, right?
Yes, this was an unlikely partnership, like partnering water with designers. Um,
Hmm.
but I think it shows like this element to like the fashion space where it doesn't have to be taken so seriously. Like we can have
Hmm.
fun, we can attach ourselves to different spaces and it not necessarily be like, oh, this is for the Met Gala or oh, I gotta design this piece for whatever big, huge. I mean, a smart water
Right.
campaign is pretty big when you're an up and coming designer, but you get what I'm saying. It's an
Hmm.
opportunity to have fun and be like, how can we show like flowiness and water, and how would I bring that to life? It's like a fun
Yeah.
project if you're a designer. So I don't think there necessarily has to be this overt tie-in together to say like, oh, water and the designers and this is the North Star and how it all comes together. I think it's a
No,
risk
it
that you
doesn't.
take. And I think when you
Yeah.
do marketing in this way and you do take a risk and say, it doesn't necessarily make sense and it is unassuming and let's do it. For that reason I like it.
Yeah, but I feel like it would have, what if, okay, a lot of times when we talk about water, especially bottled water, we talk about sustainability, right? And then we talk a lot about sustainability in the fashion space. So what if it was like a story about sustainability and like
Mm.
the reuse of single-use plastics within the textiles of the designs? And I don't know, I feel like they could have gone a little deeper there, in my
See,
opinion.
this is why you're that girl. Because
Okay.
this
I
is
mean,
why
I
you're
feel
the
like that was
strategist.
pretty that was pretty
It
obvious to me,
was,
but
I mean,
yeah.
but that's and again, that's why I stand by my statement. But yeah,
Well,
I
thank
agree
you.
with that
Thank you.
as well.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen some brands. Sorry, Spody decided to eat breakfast now. We've seen some brands that have, or at least fashion brands, working in that space. But again, like I can't remember a time that I've seen like a water brand merge into that space as well. And like again,
Hmm.
you guys are both having that same conversation, but like in a silo. So
Right,
if you're gonna do the partnership, like do the partnership.
right. I like this. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's something. I like that.
Yeah. So I mean, and maybe it's there and I just missed it, but I feel like I read articles on this, and I didn't see anything about it. Um, what I did notice though, the article that you sent, and I'm sure obviously there's a lot of publications that are excuse me, that are talking about this, but the article you sent was from Essence.
Hmm.
And remember when Law Roach was talking about like a lot of these black publications and black outlets and stuff that have not
Ooh,
given him his just due. And I noticed that
ooh,
they were very explicit about calling out stylist
yeah,
Law Roach's involvement in this campaign.
yes,
So
they were.
yeah, like they were like, okay, we're not going to get slapped on the wrist again.
Right. They say, okay, okay, heard you. Let's course correct this right here.
Right.
I
Right.
love it though.
Yeah. Um, so, question for you, because we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but you went to go see Beyonce recently.
I did.
How was it?
It was amazing. I left the most inspired that I have ever felt, and I've also left the most defeated that I've ever felt.
Defeated.
And because when you look at something in production and experience that is so great, you're like, wow, how does someone pull this off? Like to call it a concert is an understatement. And when you walk away from it, you're like, oh well, I'm not doing anything with my life. I
I
say that
feel you.
satirically, but yeah. So the concert was just amazing. I don't want to give away too much because I know you have yet to go. I'll just say her mic was on,
Per
and
usual.
no, but her mic was on like the entire time. Like normally she does like this little like she'll do a vocal track as well as her mic being on. So like,
Hmm.
during the real heavy dance parts, but the entire time her mic was on. And what you hear
Wow.
on the Renaissance album come out of her mouth in that way, and I was just like, yo, this is crazy. She's
Wow.
a machine. She's an alien. She's really an alien
How was
superstar.
the DC mute section? Did everybody shut up or
Actually, DC did really, really good, and I think that's what caused Atlanta to be like, you know what, nah, because I think Atlanta they ate.
okay, yeah, I'm not really I don't have high hopes for Miami, but we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see. But so far, she said Atlanta won.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it, but bring that up obviously to talk about the Beyonce effect, right? As it relates to the economic boost she gives these cities as she comes to town.
Hmm.
Um, did you hear anything about that from DC, or did you feel it when you were in town? Did you, even before you went to the show, did it feel like Beyonce was in town?
I can't necessarily say that I felt that, but I also don't frequent DC often to know like what a difference would feel like.
Hmm.
Also knowing that this is happening at arenas where like football games are happening. Like this sort of crowd and things like that isn't unusual for these spaces. But I'll say I contributed to the economic effect. Like, had to get the hotel room, traveling
Hmm.
with the dogs, had to get them stuff to travel with. So, like, it's these little things, but if you add it up across hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people, it, I'm sure it boosts the economy. So, according to Yelp, they
Yeah.
were saying like in different cities that she performs in, even when she was in Europe, there's searches for like eateries and restaurants near the venues that are going up like 160% than they usually are, or looking for nail techs and nail salons. Wig searches have gone up around the time when she's going to be coming into the area. Obviously, people are looking for wardrobe and alcohol and things like
Yeah.
that. So there's all these little pockets of spaces that see an uptick when she is in town. So yeah, there's a lot to be said about that, and there's a Beyonce bump in the economy while she's on tour. So I think
Yeah.
it's benefiting. But that's Beyonce.
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, I've heard this. This is the first time that I've seen publications talking about like the Beyonce effect this summer, because everybody wants to talk about the Taylor Swift effect and all of that kind of
Hmm.
stuff, and all these cities changing the names and all that. But but yeah, it was good to see some some outlets talking about how Beyonce's tour has affected these spaces as well.
Yeah, I love it. She's a force, and I stand, and I'm glad to stand.
Same, same. Again, I'm looking forward to it. My show is this Friday coming up, so I'm looking forward to it. Also, I'm like, I know you saw the review that Oprah gave, and the
Yes.
glowing review, and I'm like, why she want to do that? Now my grandma's asking how she get tickets. My mom wants to go, and I'm like, why don't y'all go
Oh my
together?
God. You should
Yeah. So
take
now,
them.
yeah, she's like, my grandma's like, Oprah. Well, Oprah said it was life changing. So I'm like, okay, all right. So let's figure out how to
Wait, wait,
get you
wait, wait,
there.
wait. Is she? How many nights is she doing Miami?
I think only one. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love if like my mom, she don't care, but that would be great. Your mom and grandmother to go and see
Yeah.
Beyonce would be amazing.
Yeah, my mom was hinting at it yesterday. Like, I wish I had tickets like you do, and I'm like, okay, okay, mom, gotcha. So we'll see what I can do. But
Oh
then
my
I know
god.
them though. I get the tickets, and then the day of, they're like, I don't really want to go. I don't feel
Oh,
like getting
see,
dressed. You
yeah,
know, that's how they are. So
and well,
yeah,
you got a decision to make. If not, then call me. I 2 hours. I can get down
right,
there.
right. Um, so next on the list we have Utopia, Travis Scott's Utopia. Did you listen to the album?
I did not listen to the album. I listened to a song
Okay, so then why do you have review thoughts? Question mark.
because I wanted to hear your reviews and your thoughts and
um,
questions.
beautiful production.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, uh,
Okay. So you like the beat?
beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I like the beat. uh,
I thought it was fun.
gr-
I like the
gr-
beat.
yeah, great features, great features. And I'm going to assume that the only song you heard was the Beyonce song. Yeah, right, right. Okay.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites on the album. It's not a Travis Scott song though. It's definitely a Beyonce song that was left off Renaissance that she gave to Travis. Clearly,
Clearly, I was trying to figure out what the tie-in is there because when I was listening to it, I was like, "Where's Travis?"
yeah,
And also, like, isn't it? It's called. I don't. What is it called? It's called Echoes, right?
yeah.
It's
It has
something,
like
and then
two
like Echo.
names. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So remember we were talking about Echoville, and I told you
Yeah.
that she
Yeah.
trademarked Echoville. And then in the tour, there's like this section where it's like Echoville. Well, there was.
hmm
I didn't see it. But she also included that song in one of the transitions. So I'm like, I wonder, does all this have, is it related or not?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, the song is called Del Resto, and then in parentheses, Echoes. Uh,
Okay. And then the other thing is, remember he was doing that release in Egypt?
hmm
What was, or something?
Yeah. Egypt
That
got
got
canceled, but
canceled,
then he
right?
did Rome. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did
I didn't know
Rome.
what happened with that.
He brought out Kanye. I didn't see it, but I think it's streaming somewhere. I don't know.
Mhm. Okay. I saw like
Yeah.
reviews online where fans were like not that thrilled with it. Like, his 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 cult followings, whether they were not like going up
Yeah.
for it in the way they expected to.
Yeah, I
So I
don't
think
know why
that's
though. Because I feel like a lot of the reviews I saw were about like the lyrical content, but I've never looked to Travis for the lyrical content. What I
mm,
thought was hilarious though was that on Pitchfork, I think it was, they reviewed the album and gave it like a 5.7, let's say. And the same guy who reviewed that reviewed Sexy Red's like EP and gave her like
mhm.
a 7. And so people
Oh,
were going in on him on Twitter, and he was like, I stand by it.
oh wow,
I was like, I
interesting.
know that's right. I was like, damn, Sexy Red got a better rating than Travis Scott's Utopia. But I'm not
Wow.
mad at it. I fuck with Sexy Red.
Yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, I don't know.
Well, you
This
should
isn't gonna hurt
listen
Travis
to
at
the
all.
rest. Yeah, it's not. You should listen to the rest of the album though.
Okay,
It's a cool like have on in the background
got you.
album.
Yeah, I'll definitely listen to it. It's downloaded. I just haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. What
Cool.
other music have you been into listening to lately? Who have I missed?
Who have you missed? Um, I can't tell you because I don't be listening to new stuff like that. And if I do, it's a lot of like indie artists.
I know someone you've been listening to,
Who?
Bronzy Brooks.
Hey.
Don't you have a new single out?
Yes, I did put a new single out. It came out Friday, Summertime High.
Yes.
Yeah, and Amadi
Amazing.
shot the visual images for it. So that's been like fun, like to release that and to see the responses. Also, the shameless plug right now. If you haven't heard it, then you can search Bronzy Summertime High and get that
Run
on
it
your
up.
ears for sure.
Run it up. Run it up. You should definitely insert that song right here.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be right here. It's gonna be right here. Thank you.
um, yeah. So staying in the music realm, what is this Sephora music program for
Yes, so
underrepresented artists?
this is really interesting. Because when I said read the headline, I was like, what? How is Sephora launching a music program for underrepresented artists? How
That's
does
my
this
question.
make sense?
Yeah.
So they announced their first ever collective called Sephora Sounds. And so TikTok, I think, is like where this all started. Like this TikTok was like the birthplace of this sort of initiative because
Hmm.
there's so much beauty content on TikTok, whether it's beauty influencers, whether it's brands pushing their products, getting reviews, and then also selling through TikTok. So when you're making these TikTok ads, one of the elements is to use sound, and they're using sound from emerging artists. And so when Sephora is pushing a product from a brand or they're doing collab with a brand and they're pushing a product through influencers or creators, they are using sound. So they decided to kind of like pull together their own book of sounds and they're using underrepresented artists to kind of like create what that looks like.
Okay.
But when that happens, people are hearing the sound like TikTok, those views generate lots of interest in what those sounds are, and then ultimately it leads to more streams for the artists, and then royalties for the artists. So that's what's happening. In one like example, in 1 month, an artist soundtrack being leveraged by Sephora campaign listeners surged on Spotify by 30,000, and that's just one song in 1 month. So if they're
Hmm.
doing this across, 55 emerging artists to amplify their music and soundtracks, that's what's happening. And a lot of, from what I can see, these artists are predominantly female and BIPOC. So that's
Cool.
what the program is. It's just an opportunity for them to highlight emerging artists and get them some more traction. Oh
When does
my
the puppy phase end? How old?
God. Oh my. About two.
Damn. So I wonder though. Okay, now that you put into context that it's something for that it stems from TikTok and the use of sounds, like the use of sounds on that platform as people are like doing makeup and things like that. Aren't there a lot of other industries that could also like benefit from this same model? Because I'm thinking like, okay, people do fashion hauls and I mean, there's a whole bunch. TikTok has everything on there.
Hmm.
So, um, is
But I don't think
music?
that
Uh huh. Go ahead.
I don't think that every brand necessarily needs to do it this way and do it themselves. Like I think Sephora has an interest in a way that's, or I don't want to call it organic to them.
Hmm.
There are ways that brands can leverage emerging artists without building a program in house.
Yeah. Okay.
So I
I can
think
see
that's
that.
the difference.
I
But
can
I
see
like
that.
what
Well.
Sephora is doing. Um,
Hmm.
but I
Did
can't
you?
see everybody popping up and just starting to do this.
Right. Did you recognize any of the artists that they've? Hey.
Oh no, I didn't actually look at them.
Okay.
I just saw the headline, then looked at the article and was like, "Oh, this is interesting."
I don't remember seeing any of the artists
Me
listed
either.
in here, but I'm gonna see if I can find some because
Yeah.
nowadays that's kind of how I find a lot of new music is on TikTok.
Oh, come on now.
You know, I try to keep up with the
Ice
youths.
ice cream's so good.
I actually found her on Twitter, so or
Oh.
X or whatever. So,
Okay.
um, so we'd be remiss not to talk about hip hop's 50th anniversary, which was what, Thursday, August 11th.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I just thought that it was worth talking about because, of course, everybody wanted to get in on the conversation.
Hmm.
I think back to the early stages of us even talking about this podcast and some of the things that brands were doing and saying and leveraging hip hop culture, like when Hamburger Helper dropped their mixtape, and like
Oh
remember back
wow.
back in those
Yes.
days when Wendy's
Yes.
had a was very had a very unique voice on Twitter and things like that. Um, I mean, I saw a couple of brands do stuff this year. I mean, some of them I think had more right to speak than others. So,
Hmm.
for example, Adidas with the shell toes, Run DMC. Of course, they were everywhere as they should have
Right.
been, right?
Right.
Um, but then there were other brands I saw. I'm blanking on the names, and maybe I'm blanking on what brands they were, and maybe that's saying a lot about what they did. But that I saw, and I was just like, well, why? Okay, I
Yeah.
guess. Uh, but for hip hop to be as relevant as it is now, recent recent chart drama notwithstanding,
Hmm.
um, I mean that's a huge feat. 50
It
years,
is
50 years of kind of a grassroots movement becoming this big behemoth in
the
culture.
driver of pop culture. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is a big deal, and I think everything, especially that we see nowadays, kind of spurs from hip hop culture. A lot of what we see, or should I say?
yeah.
I did see something interesting. I didn't see any of the activations from Essence Fest. Did you?
Any of the
But
activations?
yeah, so I saw McDonald's did like a couple of activations where they nodded to like the celebration of hip hop, where they had like an 80s, 90s, 2000s like
Hmm.
activation on different days. I gotta
Yeah,
dive more into it. Like I don't know exactly what happened, but I saw a couple of headlines where they had like DJ Manny Fresh for a night session
yeah.
of something
Like
that they did,
Juvenile
and
was
they
there.
had yeah
I mean, I saw that
different
more on the
booths.
main stage. I didn't really see
Oh,
many
okay,
brands activating, at least with that, where it was very explicit that they were celebrating 50 years of
mm,
hip hop. They, I think that was definitely the theme of like the main stage at Essence, and I know that Juvenile did perform there, but he wasn't originally slated to perform there. I think he got on
oh,
Twitter and was just like, "How are you gonna come to my city and celebrate 50 years of hip hop and not invite
oh,
me?" And then next thing I know, he was on the bill.
got it,
Like
got it.
valid point, valid point.
Very valid point.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think like you know, hip hop 50th anniversary is definitely something that should be celebrated. It was definitely celebrated at the BET Awards.
hmm,
um, but yeah, I'm curious to see what the next 50 years looks like,
yeah,
um, and how it continues to evolve and grow,
yeah. Um,
or according to
really.
like the charts, like is that trajectory going to sustain?
Well, I just think that the genre is evolving. So like what we call hip hop or what we classify as hip hop, like the sound is just changing. And I
Hmm.
think the definition or like how we view it just has to kind of catch up to that, right?
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I don't think hip hop is going anywhere. I think it's going to sound different. Just like what they were doing in 73 sounds a lot different than what we're doing now,
right.
you know?
True. True, true, true.
I just thought about that Hannibal Buress. There was like a Hannibal Buress clip where he was like, "Hip hop started out in the park," like, and
Oh, I didn't-
he was like imitating what hip hop used to sound like or something like that. But I'm like, yeah, it
oh,
sounds very different from like Sugar Hill Gang and
yeah,
like
yeah.
all of them to what it is now. And
Will Smith, like you go through like the different eras of hip
yeah,
hop, and it's definitely way different.
yeah. Then the last thing we have on our list, getting back to Beyonce, because got to end on Beyonce. Was
Mm.
her uh, capsule collection with Tiffany's that benefits HBCUs. I'll let you kind of explain this one a bit.
Yeah, so Tiffany and Company is the tour's official jeweler. Um, and so they built like a capsule, a limited edition collection. And all sales from the collection will benefit the About Love Scholarship Program, which was an initiative that Tiffany's, Beyonce, and Jay-Z started, I think it was a year or two ago when they did that About Love campaign, and they committed to donating $2 million to like HBCUs. So this is built on top of that.
Hmm.
So it'll be award scholarships to students pursuing a degree in the arts, history, and communication at 5 HBCUs. And those are Lincoln University, Norfolk State, Bennett College, University of Arkansas, at Pine
Bluff.
Bluff, and Central State University in Ohio.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I don't know like what the split looks like, but yeah, these proceeds are gonna benefit. And I just love how when you're a celebrity of this caliber, you looking for opportunities to give
Hmm.
when you are associating your name to something. So it's like, oh yeah, let's do this capsule collection, but rather than just it being the capsule collection, let's build on top of the initiative that we set out to build on, which was donating to these HBCUs student recipients and continuing to fuel like the HBCU economy. So
Yeah.
we've seen Beyonce lean into and nod to like this HBCU thing for quite some time. In recent years, like the Coachella performance, and I
Hmm.
love to see like this story continue to develop with what she's doing now.
Yeah. And I love that it's some of the lesser known or HBCUs that get fewer looks.
Right.
Um, even though I would love to
No,
see Howard on the list, but like let's be real,
I was
Howard
absolutely
doesn't need.
I was actually thrilled that Howard or Morehouse was not on the list. Cause
I know you.
come
I know
on
you
now,
were.
like
I know.
y'all
I'm
get all.
agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with
Oh,
you.
okay.
Like we don't.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like I like to see some names that you normally don't see on the list getting preferential treatment. I like that.
Okay. Okay.
See, I'm a team player. You know.
But you can't say that and then in the same breath say I would love to have seen Howard. Or
I
was
mean, I
that
wouldn't have
just
been
your way of,
upset.
of plugging Howard?
No, I wouldn't have been upset to see them on the list, but I'm not mad that they're not, given that they're often on the list. That's
Oh,
all I'm
okay.
saying. But I wouldn't have seen Howard and been like, "Damn, Howard again." No, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, earlier in the year, the Be Good Foundation committed to like $100,000 um, to 10 colleges in the
Hmm.
cities that her tour stopped in. So
Okay.
she's like hitting it. She's like really committed to this as an initiative, which you can clearly see.
Yeah. Cool. Shout out to Beyonce once
Yeah, yeah.
again.
She's that girl. She tried to tell you. It's not the diamonds.
Yeah.
It's not the pearls.
Right.
It's just that she's that girl.
Well, that wraps up Above the Fold for this week, right?
Yeah, that wraps
Which
up
means
Above the Fold. Which means it's time to jump into Guess That Spokesperson. And this week it is my turn to give the clues and your turn to guess.
it is, and that scares me that you knew that right off the bat, which means you've been thinking about this, and which means it's going to be hard. But go ahead.
No, why would you think that?
Okay, Bronzy, go ahead.
Why would you think that? Like I always
I don't know. I don't know. I just get I get the sneaking suspicion.
okay. This is easy, I think. But we'll see.
Okay.
All right. So the brand is Citron.
Is what?
Citron.
What is citron?
I can't give you all that. Like you gotta know. It's
That's supposed to be the one
it's a
thing you
okay.
can give me.
Okay, it's an automotive manufacturer.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You got it.
Sure. Sure.
All right. So these clues. This individual has a lifetime ban from Disney World.
Okay.
That's clue number one. Clue number two, she hasn't seen her husband since the early 2000s. Clue number three, which I think you might appreciate, she does her own shucking.
Like of oysters?
Yes.
What the hell type
If
of
she goes
clues
to
are
oyster
these,
round.
Bronzy? I don't know the
Okay.
brand, and you picked three
Okay.
of the most
The brand is a French automotive maker.
That really kind of nails it down for me. She
If I give
shucks
you
her
any other
own.
clues,
She shucks her own oysters. She's estranged from her husband, and and she's banned from Disney.
mhm.
Yo, that could be that like what?
You have three. You have three.
What industry is she in?
Is that a yes or no answer question?
Is she an is she a is she a recording artist?
Yes.
Um Yo, I can't wait till it's my turn next time. I can't wait. Has she released any music in the past? Has she released anything that was on the radio in the past 5 years?
Mm, has uh she has not. She has not. No.
She has not.
Mm-mm.
What does that mean? Um, she has not.
Okay, let me
Last
think.
clue or last question.
Some might consider her a rebel.
Well, I would assume if she's banned from Disney, I don't know how many America's Sweethearts are banned from there.
Uh,
Is she somebody that my grandmother would know?
yes. All right.
Okay.
Who this girl in the back of the room?
Oh, so is it Grace Jones?
Yes.
I was
Yes.
not going there.
Yes.
I was gonna get
So-
Shaka Khan or something.
Yeah, so the spot is, remember like the Afrofuturism commercial where the head comes out of the desert?
I do.
and-
I do. I
That was the
posted
car
that
brand.
before. I forgot.
Right.
I was just like, I don't remember what the car brand that was. But how do you know she
Yeah.
shucks her own oysters?
That was a deep dive into like facts. about
Damn,
Grace
that's
Jones.
hella deep. Like what?
But see, anything overt, you was gonna know just like that.
I mean,
What could I say about Grace Jones that you wasn't gonna know, Janelle?
but I mean that she shucks her own oysters. Like, what was that supposed to jog for me? Like, oh yeah, I read that.
Well,
I
because
read that
you're an
article
oyster
from
girl.
like FrenchTimes.org that said that.
But you be knowing everything, so I just don't be knowing. Like I be feeling
Alright.
like I gotta go deep.
Well, just know next time it's gonna be some crazy brand you ain't never heard of, and it's gonna be hints like, oh, you know, she at the age of 5, she, I don't know, got a
Okay.
spanking from her daddy.
Okay. Well, you got it. So
Well, thank
let's
you.
clap it up. Yeah. So that wraps up. That was a good. I say that was a good one.
That was.
You- Okay.
And
cool.
And you know what also got me really quickly? What also got me is you usually go for like the newer ads because I know the older ones a little bit better.
Right.
So that one really threw me because I'm like, what is a recent ad for this brand I've never
Gotcha.
heard of? So
Yeah.
that kind of threw me
Gotcha.
off too.
Cool. And who did the creative directing for that?
I don't know. I don't think.
Jean Paul.
Oh, yeah. Because wasn't she married to him or dating him at one
John Paul.
point?
Yeah, they have a child together.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is that who she's estranged from?
No.
Okay.
She got married, and then when they were signing their papers or something, she found out he was way younger. And so they separated, but never got a divorce. And she says she hasn't been able to track him down. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's wild.
Interesting.
But all right. So that wraps up. I guess that spokesperson. Let's go ahead and get into going with your black ads, or that ain't it. Who you got?
So for going with your black ads, I'm gonna have to give it to Beyonce. Yeah. Give it to Beyonce with an honorable mention to hip hop.
Okay, that's fair.
And for that ain't it, I don't know that we really spoke about anything egregious this time. So I don't know that anybody gets that this go round.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, absolutely Beyonce for going with your black ads, for what she's doing for HBCUs and the scholarship initiatives, as well as for the economic stimulation. And then that ain't it. I'm gonna give it to all of y'all that don't be going on mute when she says everybody on mute. Like at this point, you know, and you're just trying to be difficult. Come on, it's supposed to be a moment. Let's just make the moment.
See, and my thing is like, I really hope that that's not just like a black Twitter thing, because ain't gonna be many black Twitter folks up in the Miami show. Like they about to
right. Yeah,
about to piss
you got
me
a
off.
point there.
They about to piss
Nobody's
me
going on mute. They gonna be
Yeah.
just me and my crew.
I'm gonna take the L. I'm already ready to take the L on that one.
Okay, well at least you're going in prepared, because it looked like they was ready to slap hoes in some of them videos. Where
I know.
like,
I was just like, okay, y'all gotta chill though. Like, okay, they didn't go on mute, but like the show will continue. Like, ain't no need to jump anybody in the crowd and look at people crazy. I saw one where a girl like grabbed the other girl's face. I think she knew her, but she like grabbed her lips. Like, shut up.
That is hilarious. But cool. That wraps this week's episode of With Your Black Ads. As always, follow us on all social platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and share this podcast with those you know, and send us anything you see in the streets that you feel like we would want to talk about or will have an opinion on. But until next time, thank y'all and see y'all. Bye.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. God damn. That's what I'm talking about. It was so black ass. It was black ass.